All right, so obviously the big question here, how does it feel to sign and officially begin this journey as a Sun Devil?
It's surreal. It's exciting. I've been working for this for a long time, and my hard work's starting to pay off, and I'm ready to get to work.
So why was Arizona State and the football program under Kenny Dillingham the right place for you to continue your career?
Coach Cooper, my linebacker coach, he had a system. He runs a system I think I will fit well into, and I think he can mold me into a great player. He talked a lot about self independence, player independence, and he'll help guide me as a player instead of holding my hand. And I think that is something I'm really big on. I've been independent growing up, and I'm looking forward to it. I also like that they just joined a new conference. I think that's super cool, and it better competition. So it'll give us as a team and me as a player better opportunities. I feel like.
So being a local guy in the state of Arizona, obviously in the northern part of the state, were you an ASU fan growing up, or where was ASU on your radar in terms of potential college destinations as a youngster?
Yeah, for sure. I like the Sun Devils growing up. I live right by NAU, so I was always a fan of the Lumberjacks. And when I could go to a Sun Devil game, I would try to. But I definitely like staying local in Arizona. I've got a lot of family here. I've got a big community, so it gives me a chance to play for them as well, and have all the kids like that I babysat or like young cousins or like that they don't have to travel super far.
How much of a factor was that? Obviously, you have just a couple hours down the mountain to the valley, and just how much of the overall decision was kind of this being able to stay home close to the family for you?
It was a big decision. I'm really big on family. It also gives me a chance to become my own person. I'm not living in my own backyard. I'm just a couple hours down, so I can still be my own person, my own player. Hold all the responsibilities as a college athlete and a college student. But definitely, family was a big part. As I've said, uh, the coaching staff was super kind to my mom, and my mom's really close, or I'm really close to my mom. She's done a lot of. She's been a big help in a lot of ways these past couple of years and throughout my career.
What's it been like for you as a recruit? Seeing Kenny Dillingham since he's taken over a little over a year now, just kind of placing a renewed focus on local Arizona-bred talent.
I really like that. Keep AZ and AZ. I was trying to be a part of that, so I started going to camps. I tried connecting, doing all that, trying to get on their radar, and eventually all my hard work paid off.
What's it been like? Obviously, being in the northern part of the state, not in the valley, just being perhaps a little bit out of maybe a little bit off the traditional radar, so to speak. Do you feel that you had to go put forth some extra effort, or maybe perhaps maybe some like technology or things these days can make being discovered a little bit easier in making those connections with the big time colleges?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely started late in being in Flagstaff. I wasn't on anybody's radar before my senior year. I had to go to a lot of camps this summer, talk to a lot of coaches. I grew my Twitter account over the summer. I made it in May, and I had no coaching or no coaches, no like uh, communication with anybody or anything like that. So I definitely had to work a little bit harder, but I didn't mind that at all. I definitely liked that I had to work a little bit harder, prove myself, and so it paid off. I mean, yeah, it was difficult, but
Is there any kind of appeal for you to perhaps be an example or a blueprint for guys who perhaps maybe outside the metro area that can be maybe a little bit off the beaten path, but putting in that hard work like you did, that you can maybe be an example to those guys that never lose hope that the talent will rise to the top and you'll be found.
yeah, for sure. If I've always been told from my coaches, if you can play football, there's always somewhere you can play, and I believe that that is true given the fact that I just grew up. I grew up in a small town. I play in a small town, little 4A school, So I'm not on the radar of these big 6A and all these open teams like that. So I think that if you can do the work and you are willing to put in the work, then anything is possible for sure.
So obviously, we have things, the perceptions down here in the valley, and the school and the campus is right there. But being a couple hours away, what is Arizona State's reputation kind of up the mountain? As you mentioned, you're right next to NAU. So just how do folks up there kind of perceive ASU and perhaps even Sun Devil football?
Well, it's definitely in a bigger division. It's Big 12, not FCS. So there's a lot of ASU fans down here. A lot of my family are some ASU fans, some not. Some are Wildcat fans.
Oh no.
Yeah, but they always talk about like the heat, or it's all hot down there in Phoenix because right now it just snowed a lot here. But I have heard some stuff, but nothing bad.
I mean, are you gonna be ready to come fall camp for those 115-degree days?
Yeah, I'll be all right. I mean, it might get me right at first, but it's nothing I can't handle.
So you mentioned Coach Cooper, being a key cog in his coaching style. Getting to know him, what really kind of jumps out to him, in addition to what you mentioned earlier, just in terms of what he's able to do, and perhaps even looking at the track record recently about elevating guys. Tate Romney, another local linebacker who was thrown in the lineup last year and did really well.
Yeah, he definitely liked my size, my athleticism, my physicality. It's definitely a big factor to him, I think. I've definitely got a build that I can put on a few more pounds and keep my speed as an outside linebacker or wherever he puts me. So I think he liked that.
Overall, when you look at this Brian Ward defense, a defense that's really kind of built on aggression, bringing the attack towards an opposing offense, what kind of jumps out to you about, from that linebacker spot, what, your future defensive coordinator wants out of his backers?
He was talking about he's going to learn this. We're going to learn the same things over and over. He's big on fundamentals, and he's not going to install a lot of crazy stuff. So once we learn one thing, we can be able to teach it to the next people that come up or teach it to each other. So I'm pretty happy that there's some returning linebackers that will be able to maybe take me under their wing or show me a few things so that I can learn it from their perspective instead of a coach talking to me about it from their perspective.
For any listeners and viewers who might not have seen you in action or caught your film, what do you bring to a defense? Give our folks a self-scouting report on what you bring to a defense.
I'm definitely a downhill player. I'm not afraid to hit. I definitely love the physicality of football. That's why I started playing football. I think that's super important at a linebacker position, stopping the run first. I can drop back, cover when I need to, but I'm not straying away from tight ends or receivers or running backs like that at all. I mean, getting off linemen, I can definitely do that for sure, but I just love the physicality of my own game, and I feel like some other people do as well.
Speaking of that physicality, you're an accomplished wrestler as well. What have you seen in terms of your time wrestling that has helped translate and elevate your football game?
Yeah, so I grew up wrestling. My dad got me into wrestling. I did like martial arts, like jiu-jitsu. That stuff is definitely important and definitely a part of my success. It's definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I feel like that helps me become a better player because I can do all this stuff on a football field that I can do on a wrestling mat. It definitely helps my flexibility or like close range tackling or things like that. I think wrestling was definitely the success of my football career.
Now, obviously in the next few months before you come down and really kind of get things going, how are you preparing for making that jump up from as you mentioned, a 4A school to big time college football?
I'm doing what I can. I've got a new coach, or obviously Coach Cook, first year at Coconino. I don't have a lot of college friends. I had a linebacker graduate last year, but he's currently on his mission, so I can't get any help from him. And at Coconino, there's not a lot of like recruits or things like that, or in Flagstaff. So I'm pretty self-reliant. I lift a lot by myself. I run. I'm gonna do track so I can get faster, and then I'll lift to get bigger. and then I feel like I will be in a good spot to grow and mold into a college athlete.
And when you get the opportunity in fall camp, what are the things that you really want to show coaches?
That I can play. Obviously, I'm not gonna take it the easy. I'm gonna take every chance that I get at 100% for sure. Show them that I'm definitely a player that will be a big time impact in future Sun Devil football. Show that to all my teammates. Show them I won't back down as a leader or as a player, and that I'm always going to be reliable on the defensive side of the ball.
And ultimately, when you're down here, suited up in the maroon and gold, what kind of goals have you set for yourself for year one as a Sun Devil?
Um, I want to, everybody says they want to play freshman year. I want to be in a comfortable spot my freshman year. I want to have some playing time, obviously. I just want to be able to teach next year, be able to teach the defensive system to incoming players or things like that. I just want to be able to understand what Coach Cooper's teaching me, and so I don't have to second guess and I can play 100% at the level when I get the chance I get.